What's up, guys? This is Road to Quant Day 2. I believe today is May 20th, 2026. Let me just double check. Yeah, May 20th. I'm an idiot. I don't know the date. I just had 2 more finals today. Yesterday I had 2. So I'm done with 4 out of my 6 finals. But yeah, this is Road to Quant Day 2. Thank you. This is my AI generated slide, if you could not tell. Very obvious. Alright, so today I actually don't have a plan, but let's consult the Claude and let's run through this list. Let's try to get goal by June 1 done. That's pretty easy. Alright, actually no, we can't read this book and watch this lecture, but let's install Python plus VS Code. I have VS Code because I actually have Virtual Studio. VS, yeah. I have Visual Studio. That's Visual Studio. That's what I have. Python.org. Let me see what Python I have. So let's open Visual Studio. Visual Studio Code. Alright, don't worry about my AI crap. So Python 3.13. It says to do 3.12. I'm going to ask it, I have Python 3.13. Is that okay, or should I downgrade to 3.12? Gotta be specific. Let's see what the Claude says. 3.13 is perfect. Boom. Alright. Yes. That is perfect. So Python version, let me just go into my terminal. If you guys never used terminal before, learn 3.13.9, perfect. We are done with that, and we are good. So now we are done with our first task. Let me just retract all these tasks from last video. So we're done with installing Python and VS Code, because we've already done that from various other projects that I've done. Now, shit. We have to read A Man for All Markets by Ed Thorp. Alright, I've changed my mind. We are putting this on hold. And I understand, let's say I do not have a copy of A Man for All Markets by Ed Thorp. What do I do? Claude, save me. I love Claude, bro. Alright, I really cannot find a copy. I am poor and I cannot buy the book. We're going to try to find a different way. Okay, so let's watch the Lex Fridman and Ed Thorp interview on YouTube. It is 3 hours. Completely free, covers the core ideas. Then grab the book when you have a card set up. From the interview, I will get 80% of the value. Okay, so let's find this YouTube video. So, can you get me a link? Woohoo! Of course, it's finding a link. Huh. Hallucinating! Oh my god, hallucinating. It's the Tim Ferriss one, I knew it. Let's watch this together. All right. So that was Tim Ferriss's podcast with Ed Thorp. And initial reaction as I'm processing it, because I tend to process things very, it just ends up coming to me. Ed Thorp is a very intelligent person. He's very mathematically inclined. He is very interested in learning. He's got some things that I'll never have, which is the geniusness. Well, I could be a genius, who knows? But basically, his approach to life is kind of similar to mine in the fact that we're interested in learning. He is probably more mathematically inclined than I am, but it was interesting to see how he approached complex problems that I would never even think of approaching. He saw the stock market as basically a math problem. He's just interested into it. So that's pretty interesting. I'm getting a grasp of his way of thinking. Now I'm going to go into Claude and read a summary that Claude puts out of the book that I was supposed to read that I do not have. So can you give me a summary and key details within the book that I can read after I just watched this interview? Let's see what Claude gives me. A Man for All Markets, Ed Thorp. What the book is. It's Thorp's autobiography, but structured as a masterclass in finding edges, first in gambling, then in financial markets. The core thesis running through every chapter is the same. Find an information or analytical advantage that others don't have, size your bets correctly, and let math do the rest. Okay, it's interesting. Part 1 is the early years of Blackjack. Thorp grew up poor during the Great Depression, largely self-taught, and developed an obsession with scientific thinking from childhood. I got that from the interview. He taught himself chemistry, electronics, physics through experiments, not school. The key insight from his early life is he never accepted that's just how it works. So he was not an assumption-based person, and he needed the backing to it. When he got to Blackjack, every casino gambler assumed that the house always wins. Thorp asked why, and found that under the right conditions, it wasn't true. His Blackjack breakthrough came from a simple realization. Unlike roulette or craps, Blackjack has memory because of the cards. It's not with replacement, it's without replacement. Cards already dealt change the probability of future cards. He used an IBM 704 computer, one of the most powerful of the era, to simulate millions of hands to prove mathematically that removing certain cards from the deck shifted odds in the player's favor. The result was card counting. That's pretty easy. I know how to do that. High-low. Not memorizing every card, but tracking the ratio of high to low cards remaining. High-low. When the deck was rich in high cards, the player had an edge and should bet big, when not, bet small. Key lesson, a small persistent edge compounded over many trials produces enormous results. And the Kelly Criterion, Part 2. This is arguably the most important section for a future quant. After proving he could win at Blackjack, Thorp met Claude Shannon, the father of information theory at MIT. Shannon introduced him to Kelly Criterion, a formula developed by John Kelly at Bell Labs. The Kelly Criterion answers, given a known edge, how much of a bankroll should you bet? So this is odds. This is not odds, this is risk management. And the formula is F equals edge over odds. Interesting. That's cool. Where F is a fraction of your bankroll to wager. Bet too little and you grow slowly. Bet too much, even with a genuine edge, and you could risk ruin through variance. That's cool. This concept became the foundation of everything Thorp did in markets. It's not enough to find an edge. You must size positions correctly, or even a winning strategy can destroy you. This is one of the most practically useful ideas in all of quantitative finance. You will encounter it constantly in your career. Part 3, warrants and the first hedge fund. Thorp's transition from Blackjack to markets followed the same pattern. Find a mispricing that others have missed. In the late 1960s, he noticed that stock warrants, essentially early options, were systematically mispriced. Using similar mathematical tools to those he used at the Blackjack table, he derived a formula for what a warrant should be worth and found that the market consistently got it wrong. Crucially, this was happening before Black, Scholes, and Merton published their famous options pricing formula in 1973. Thorp had independently derived essentially the same model years earlier. He just never published it academically because he was too busy making money with it. Cool. He partnered with a broker named J. Regan to launch Princeton Newport Partners in 1969, one of the first quantitative hedge funds in history. The strategy was delta neutral hedging, buy the mispriced warrant, short the underlying stock in the right ratio, and collect the pricing discrepancy with minimal market risk. Key lesson: market prices are not always right, and math can identify when they're wrong. Part 4, Princeton Newport Partners and the track record. The fund ran from 1969 to 1988, produced roughly 19% annualized returns after fees, with only a handful of losing months across nearly 2 decades, and that is 3. And there were 1% losses. For context, this is a Sharpe ratio, risk-adjusted return, that virtually no fund has matched over a similar period. What made it work? Systematic rules-based investing, no emotional decisions, diversification across many small edges, no single bet was large enough to be dangerous, and rigorous position sizing using Kelly-based principles, continuous research, always looking for new mispricings as old ones closed. Interesting. The fund was eventually shut down not due to performance, but because of a government investigation into its broker's activities, charges that were later largely dismissed. Thorp himself was never charged with anything. Part 5, Detecting Bernie Madoff. Okay, one of the most remarkable chapters covers how Thorp figured out Bernie Madoff was a fraud years before the 2008 collapse exposed him, and this was in the interview, and it was through McKinsey he figured it out, because he, investigated. Okay, a friend asked Thorp to evaluate Madoff's fund. Thorp ran the numbers and found several red flags. The reported returns were statistically impossible given the stated strategy, and this was through looking at trades that never happened. The options market wasn't large enough to accommodate the volume Madoff claimed to be trading. The fund used an obscure small accounting firm that couldn't credibly audit an operation that size. His conclusion: either Madoff was front-running, using client order flow illegally, or the whole thing was fabricated. Either way, he told his friend to get out. Key lesson: if returns seem too good and the strategy doesn't add up, trust the math over the story. This is directly applicable to evaluating any trading strategy you encounter. Basically, he was getting 20%, I believe it was McKinsey, was getting 20% returns year after year through this fake, fraudulent fund. And basically Thorp told him to exit because this seemed kind of fishy, and he said why. And the reason why he said it was basically risk management. If he left, he would be making 16% rather than 20%, which is a considerable amount less. But the alternative was if Thorp was right and Madoff was a fraud, he would lose everything. So the risk was not worth staying in the higher 20% with the potential fraud. And it ended up being fraud, so math did pay off there. But that's pretty interesting. Part 6, Life, Philosophy, and Risk. The financial sections are about how Thorp applied the same analytical framework to life itself: health, longevity, relationships, personal finance, and this is cool. A few ideas worth remembering: avoid ruin above all else. Yes, in both gambling and markets, the worst outcome isn't a bad year, it's a permanent loss of capital. Protect the downside, and the upside takes care of itself. Independent thinking is more valuable than consensus. Every major breakthrough in the book came from Thorp ignoring what everyone knew and running the numbers himself. Compounding is the most powerful force in finance. A consistent edge, properly sized over a long time period, produces extraordinary results. This applies to knowledge too. Learning compounding over your 4 years at Dartmouth will put you miles ahead. The 3 ideas to internalize before college. These will come up again and again throughout your career. Edge plus sizing equals everything. Finding an alpha is worthless without knowing how much to bet on it. The Kelly criterion is the mathematical answer. That's F equals edge over... I already forgot it. Let's see what it is. F equals edge over odds. Okay. And 2, mispricing exists because of information asymmetry or analytical failure. Thorp didn't have secret information. He just did math that others hadn't done. That's the job of a quant researcher. So I would be doing math that people haven't done and finding my own edge, which then gets closed up. Well, so I need to find another edge. All right, systematic beats discretionary. Every time Thorp trusted his model over his gut, it worked. Every time he or people around him made emotional decisions, it didn't. So basically, math proves itself again and again. The Tim Ferriss interview covers most of the Blackjack and Kelly material well. The book goes much deeper on the hedge fund years, the Madoff story, and the life philosophy sections. Those are where real quant career lessons live. I will read that when I have time, but for now, I guess I can cross out that as done. And this is, I think I'm going to download this file. Yeah, so let's download that file. But essentially, we have done this and this. I'm going to bookmark this. And other tasks that we have to do is watch this lecture, but that is going to be it for day 2 of Road to Quant. And if you guys, like this journey, I know my videos are long and boring because I don't edit it because I'm trying to give raw footage of my actual journey. But, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And yeah, I will be continuing my journey. I will try to post every day. That might be impossible because I am traveling. It's my senior summer, and my parents, it's their last year with me at home, so they want to travel with me. So I will be gone for a little bit, but I will still be learning along the way, and I will try to record it. But yeah, that's it for day 2 of Road to Quant, and I accomplished something today. I already had Python and VS Code installed, and I didn't read A Man for All Markets by Ed Thorp, but I did watch his interview and got a detailed summary from Claude. And tomorrow I will continue by starting either the linear algebra lectures, or I will find something else to do that relates more to becoming a quant. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed day. Peace from the Dartmouth Road to Quant series. For going from a non-quant target school to finance target school, but yeah. Thank you guys, and I will update you as time goes on. Have a great day.